Democracies are based on two simple elements: a free and fair election, and the peaceful transition of power thereafter. Today we're going to look at that second element, and what happens if the peaceful transition of power isn't all that peaceful. Let's get into it.
We came to fight. We came to take what was meant to be ours. There's no place to hide.
I'm not American. However, like the majority of Americans, I also didn't vote for Donald in the 2016 election. It is important to remember that the national polling everyone claims was so wrong in 2016 was in fact right. He did lose the popular vote. It's also important to realise that the majority of states in which he barely scraped through, state polling was generally in the margin of error, meaning it really could go either way. Long story short, the polls weren't anywhere near as wrong then, and they aren't anywhere near as wrong as Trump is saying today. Facing what appeared to be an uphill climb, Trump and his campaign decided to do two things no patriotic statesperson would have ever done. Apart from the standard Republican playbook of race baiting, xenophobia, religious bigotry and fear-mongering used to divide elements of the electorate, and specifically used to make pathetically weak and scared, uneducated white men think that Mexicans were stealing their jobs, Muslims were coming to kill their families, and feminists somehow were planning to have them neutered and mount their balls in a jar over their fireplace, Trump's campaign also sought the assistance of foreign powers. And secondly, his campaign did all it could to invalidate the result of the election before it even took place. And this is what I want to talk about today. Republicans throughout the nation are closing polling places at record speeds in an attempt to ensure as few people vote as possible. Trump has been demonising the concept of mail-in voting, even though he and his entire entourage of grifters and lowlifes, including his children, voted by mail in 2018. Gerrymandering is alive and well, and we all know that Trump has already been impeached for seeking assistance from Ukraine in the upcoming 2020 election. However, should these unpatriotic tactics prove unfruitful, Donald wants you to think that he and those who voted for him would have been robbed, and that the election itself would be invalid. I have been saying since 2018 that should Trump lose the election in 2020, America will be on the cusp of a second civil war. Why? Because I genuinely believe he will refuse to concede the election and help to facilitate the peaceful transition of power like presidents before him. Donald is not running for a second term. He is running to stay out of prison. The Mueller report identified 10 different accounts of obstruction of justice. These are crimes Trump couldn't be indicted for whilst elected to the highest office. And I know this because, unlike the Republican Congress, I read the report. I also heard Robert Mueller say to the US Senate that Trump could in fact be criminally charged after his term had ended and if he wasn't re-elected. Not to mention his personal lawyer was convicted and sentenced to prison for a crime that the judge found was at the behest of and the benefit to individual one, Donald J. Trump. Another crime he could not be indicted for while sitting as President of the United States. The question then stands, what will happen if he loses and decides not to leave? What will you do? How will you respond? Will you allow your nation to become a warped monarch with a self-appointed king? Or worse, a dream of what appears to be every Republican congressperson, a dictatorship headed by a religious zealot? What will you tell your children you did when and if America was on the cusp of losing her democracy? Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please like and subscribe and ring the bell so you stay up to date with all of our videos.